Good morning from Ellis Island, which is not too far from Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, etc., etc. in New York. It was an actual immigration center for a number of years before it was closed down. So a lot of people in the US can trace their history back through the Ellis Island immigration center. And just to show you exactly what this center is, it's been turned into a museum now. It was actually in dilapidated conditions at one stage, but they've managed to turn this into a museum where you can see the immigration from Ireland, Germany, Sweden, Italy, England, Canada, Scotland, etc., etc., all the numerous countries. Because the US is made up of people that come from a variety of countries from all over the world. And this museum explains and shows you this history. What happened at this immigration center. I should say actually, I can remember in the first Godfather film actually, no, the second Godfather film, when Vito Corleone emigrates from Italy to the US, and they show the immigration hall in the film. It's actually quite famous in a number of movies. So this actually forms part of the Statue Cruiser's ticket, where if you buy a ticket, Ellis Island automatically gets included. And I know a lot of people skipped the Ellis Island tour, because a lot of people just from Statue of Liberty, from Liberty Island, just wanted to go back to the city. And Ellis Island is like an afterthought for a lot of people. Well, a lot of people don't know what it is actually. So you do get a lot of people skipping that. More people go to Liberty Island than they do to Ellis Island itself. And this was the baggage hall within the immigration centre, and they've even got a few suitcases on display with what's it say on this name? Actually says something on here. Evangelina Avaria Trenton, is that New Jersey, I think. So yeah, this was the baggage hall. It's been turned into, there's an information desk, there's a store as well, and it actually forms part of the main entrance as well. So you can see, they've actually got good pictures, good displays here, where they've got immigrants coming from a ship with, I guess in those days, bare minimum really, because I don't think immigrants really came from families that were rich or well off. So you had a lot of immigrants who were from, you can say, from lower income families that came looking for a better life, and so the possessions that they came with were quite bare minimum. In fact, looking at some of these images actually, where you've got immigrants coming with bare minimum, it reminds me of images that I've seen of when the Indian partition took place, when the movement of people took place, where you've got bare minimum being taken by the people who moved that way. And if you are actually, I would say, to be honest, if you live in the US and you know that your family's been here for a number of years. I know a lot of people have traced their family histories via Ellis Island. I think it's featured in some of the USA's Who Do You Think You Are programs as well. And it is quite a fascinating fact actually, if you can do that. So imagine if you can trace your great grandparents, for example, that came to America, maybe 150 years ago or more, and you could trace their history. And just looking at I like these. This is what I like actually. This is what I like about museums and places where they've got descriptions. So the baggage room. So this is the actual baggage room. And it's got a description of it here as well. So 12 million immigrants entered the US through Ellis Island during the years 1892 and 1954. Yeah, and like I said, like many Americans trace their ancestry to immigrants who crossed this island before dispersing to all points across the country. So yeah, you know, in a lot of places, not just New York but also others, you get areas, the famous ones being Little Italy in Manhattan, and also the Bronx where Arthur Avenue is. You get there's little Ukraine, little Russia, little Dominican Republic, little India. There's all sorts of littles where you get groups of people who make an area their home and contribute to that area and form part of the society that's there, the community that's there. That's one good thing that I've liked about America, where you do get pockets. There's a good Chinatown actually as well in Manhattan. That's always worth visiting, and I will try and visit that actually. Just trying to see what else I can say. It's got quite a few journeys here. So they've got a journey of 1550 to 1890, the Ellis Island experience 1890 to 1954, and new eras of immigration 1945 to the present, of post World War II, and when things changed quite significantly. So like I said, this is part of the ticket that makes up the Statue of Liberty tour. I'm just sitting on a bench actually because I've been walking around. I've been walking around since I arrived, and my feet are absolutely killing. And what I didn't do was, this is actually, I'll give you a bit of advice here. Wear trainers. Don't wear fashionable shoes or anything without a sports type of sole, because your feet will hurt, and mine are. They've been hurting since last night. So I say, do come down to the Statue of Liberty, see that, afterwards see Ellis Island, learn about the history of immigration in the US. It forms part of that ticket, so it is worth seeing. It is an interesting museum, and I think they've done I've definitely been here once before, maybe twice, and they never used to have this much displayed before. So I'm actually quite impressed with what they've done, because this baggage hall that you see here used to be empty. This used to have glass like cabinets all around it, around the perimeter. So they never used to have these displays that you can see here. So I think this they've done wonders with. And even looking, like I walked inside, where you've got the journeys, the peopling of America, 1550 to 1890. These displays weren't here before. And so you've got the history of the US, early immigration, the early settlers. So yeah, this is where the history is, and you can research it here. I just noticed something actually. There's some history about Scotland here. So Scotland's gifts, the Declaration of Arbroath. The Scots. The Scottish are a good nation as well. The Scots they're a proud nation as well, Scotland. Scotch whiskey, for those of you into whiskey. Another thing to do with. Let's have a look. Here you go, Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, a lot of people think it's English. Created by Edinburgh's famous son, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. There you go. That's another thing. Another fact that probably people don't know. Actually, I didn't know. I didn't know Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was Scottish. It's actually quite well done. It's quite well made. Sailing. This isn't I'm trying to make it in the style of a ship. Yeah. I'm impressed with Ellis Island. I was expecting just the baggage hall to be here, but they've actually done a lot more with this. So yeah, I'm impressed with the museum. And you know, the thing is, it's part of that ticket as well, so you haven't got to pay extra for it. Yeah, you got to pay $20 to buy the ticket that shows you both sites, but it's worth it. I think it's worth it. If you halved it, $10 each, $10 Statue of Liberty, $10 Ellis Island, that's nothing. That's peanuts in this day and age. You've got inflation going through the roof, yeah, and you're paying $10 each to see two sites. You can't beat that, to be honest. Railroad ticket office. This room added to the main building in 1905 was originally the railroad ticket office, where immigrants could make travel arrangements to their final destinations in the United States. It's Tammany Hall. What's this to do with Tammany Hall? Let's have a look. All I remember is Tammany Hall was featured in the Gangs of New York film. So Tammany Hall used to be part of the Democrat Party. I think had a lot of influence. That's about all I know, and I gathered that from the film, actually, to be honest. I haven't done any research into it. That was what I got from the film with Daniel Day-Lewis in the film. I just came outside as well, and there's a team of bagpipers. He's trying to tune, I think. He's going up the scale there, trying to tune. Wasn't playing anything. You're not going to fool me with that. He was tuning. They are the St. Columcille United Gaelic Pipe Band, and I think they play whenever a ferry arrives, I think, to welcome them, because they were actually playing when I arrived. Just didn't take much notice of it because I wanted to get inside, because it's freezing on the ferry to get here. It's quite open. That's the thing about these islands. They are open, so you've got to brave these conditions, and then you can make your way into Ellis Island Museum. Yeah, he was looking. The guy was I think he did want to play something, because when I was standing there filming, but because I think his bagpipe is out of tune, they were trying to fix it, hopefully in tune for when the next ferry arrives. So it's quite a good addition, actually, quite a good welcoming feature, I think. But yeah, there's another picture. Just notice another picture where you've got people coming in. One thing I've noticed about a lot of pictures like this, and even looking at times gone by, people in those days used to be well dressed. You know, you look at the gentlemen and and also the ladies in here as well. They're quite well dressed. You got I don't think there's a man here without a hat on. And they've pretty much all got suits on, some even with waistcoats. So, you know, better than the guff we have nowadays, where people don't even know what colour socks to wear. You know, one's a different colour, one's another colour. So people used to be better dressed in those days, you know. But hopefully we might get back to those days, actually. People take a bit more time with their appearance. There still is actually a program, Peaky Blinders. People have started watching that, and flat caps are back in fashion. Waistcoats and flat caps. I was going to say flapjacks there. So yeah, flapjacks. I don't think flapjacks are making a comeback. I think people have stopped eating them by and large. But flat caps, yeah, flat caps and waistcoats. That's what it is. That's what people are wearing again, because Peaky Blinders, that program about the gangs in the Midlands, is turning people towards that fashion trend again. But just from Ellis Island, I've been walking around here quite a bit, and I'm going to do a bit more walking actually, and from then go back to the borough of Manhattan, I should say, with the ferry, and then see where else my travels takes me. But from Ellis Island and the Ellis Island Museum is goodbye.